Downtown Providence is the heart of Rhode Island's capital city. Every day, thousands of people come here to work, study, shop, and enjoy the city's attractions. Visitors see beautiful rivers, historic buildings, and events like Waterfire. But the downtown area we see today is very different from what existed hundreds of years ago. The history of downtown Providence is a story of growth, industry, challenges, and renewal. Over the centuries, this area has transformed from a small colonial settlement into a major center of business, government, and culture. In this documentary, we will explore how downtown Providence developed, the challenges it faced, and how it became New England's most recognizable urban centers. The city of Providence was founded in 1636 by Roger Williams, after he left Massachusetts Bay Colony seeking religious freedom. The settlement was established near Providence River, which became an important transportation route for trade and travel. As the population grew, businesses and homes were built near the waterfront. The area that would later become downtown Providence became the center of commerce and government. Merchants used the river to transport goods, while local businesses served residents and travelers. Throughout the 18th and 19th centuries, Providence expanded rapidly. New roads connected the city to neighboring communities, and downtown became a gathering place where people worked, traded goods, and conducted government business. Many of the historic buildings constructed during this period helped shape the city's identity and can still be seen today. By the early 1800s, Providence had become one of the fastest growing cities in New England. Its location along important waterways gave it economic advantages and helped attract businesses and investors. During the 19th century, Providence benefited greatly from the Industrial Revolution. Factories produced textiles, jewelry, machinery, and other products that were sold throughout the United States and beyond. Railroads played a major role in this growth. Trains allowed manufacturers to transport goods more quickly and efficiently than ever before. Downtown Providence became a busy center filled with workers, business owners, banks, and transportation hubs. As industry expanded, new office buildings, hotels, and commercial structures were built. The city gained a reputation as one of the leading industrial centers in New England. Economic growth brought jobs and opportunities to thousands of people. The downtown area became a symbol of Rhode Island's prosperity. Streets were crowded with shoppers and workers, and businesses thrived. For many decades, Providence continued to grow as a center of manufacturing and trade. Despite its success, downtown Providence faced major challenges during the 20th century. After World War II, many American families moved from cities to suburban communities. Businesses followed their customers, and downtown shopping districts began to lose visitors. At the same time, highways such as Interstate 95 and Interstate 195 were constructed. While these roads improved transportation, they also changed the city's layout and separated some neighborhoods from the downtown area. Another issue involved the city's rivers. Over time, parts of the rivers had been covered or hidden beneath the railroads and roads. Much of the downtown became dominated by transportation infrastructure rather than public spaces. By the 1970s and early 1980s, many people viewed downtown as a declining area. Some buildings were underused, economic activity had slowed down, and fewer visitors came to the city center. City leaders realized that significant changes would be necessary to revalidate town and attract people back. One of the most important chapters in the history of downtown Providence began during the 1980s and 1990s. City planners, engineers, and government officials developed an ambitious project to transform the downtown area, known as the Providence River Relocation Project. This effort involved uncovering and redesigning parts of the city's river system. Roads and railroad structures that were once dominated the area were removed or relocated. New bridges, walkways, parks, and public gathering spaces were created. The project completely changed the appearance of downtown. Instead of hidden waterways and crowded infrastructure, residents and visitors can now enjoy open river views and attractive public spaces. Water Place Park became one of the most recognizable features of the city. The new Riverwalk encouraged people to spend time downtown, while businesses and developers invested in the new projects nearby. Many experts considered the river location project one of the most successful urban revitalization efforts in the United States. It helped attract new residents, businesses, and tourists while preserving the city's historic character. All right. Hello, Betsy. Thank you so much for letting me over to interview you for this topic. Um, let's start off with question one. All right.
Sure.
So, how has downtown Providence changed over the last 100 years?
Well, it's changed significantly because a lot of the industry and the retail, especially that downtown Providence had, has left the city. As people have gone out into the suburbs and gone to the malls as they became popular, it lost a lot of the retail business. And when a lot of the retail business lost, some of the businesses also left. So many of the buildings that had been thriving industrial centers of business for everyone left. And so it left a lot of vacant buildings, and a lot of people started working more in the suburbs instead of the city.
I was doing a couple of research. I had very similar answers from other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Rhode Island used to be, downtown probably used to be booming before all that
Yep.
happened.
It was really thriving. Yep.
All right, let me pull up question number 2. Why was the river relocation project so important?
Well, the river relocation project, it did a couple things. One of the largest ones is that the river used to go right to the footsteps of the State House, which most people don't realize, and that river was relocated so that we could continue to expand the base around the State House for state offices, office buildings. We could create a city in Providence that really was basically only a few buildings, and it was hindering the growth of the city because the water was really right on top of the State House.
Wow, that's so interesting. Like, I never knew about that.
Yeah, yep.
Crazy.
People could come out of the front of the State House building and the ocean was right there.
It's crazy how it's changed so much.
It has. They filled in a lot of the water, and if you look at Providence now, they pushed it so far back that it's going all the way to where the waterfront is, India Park, and that's quite a ways from the downtown, from the State House.
That would probably look so cool.
I bet it really did. Yeah, I wasn't alive to see it, but yeah, I'm sure it was beautiful.
That probably would have been so cool. All right, so for question 4. Question 3. What caused Providence downtown Providence decline during the mid 1900s?
In the mid 1900s, well, the Industrial Revolution was in full swing, and so a lot of the jobs that people were coming into the city to have were now going out into more suburban. They needed more room. It was congested. It was a city. So some of the jobs that were needing to be done as we became more and more with manufacturing, that couldn't be done exclusively in the downtown. They needed to move out from the city. And so that really changed everything and became more a city center to more the suburbs and more the rural to accommodate as our factories grew.
I was also doing some research, and I heard something had to do something with World War One.
Absolutely, the war changed a lot of things. It put a lot of people who were part of our workforce were now had military service.
Like you said, people moved to the suburbs. They didn't want to be in the city, and then the businesses fault them. So everyone left.
Right.
It's like
as the men left, and many of the women who are the ones who were taking some of the jobs, they couldn't be as far from their families, and their child care needs were not going to be met in the city. So a lot of it shifted out away from the city life.
Yeah. That's a good answer. All right. For question 4, what historical landmarks in downtown Providence are most significant in your opinion?
In my opinion, the Superman building it's an amazing building. It's not only architecturally so beautiful, it was the Art Deco style. It was really a work of art for the time it went in. So it really put Providence on the landmark. On the stage of having a landmark that was just so beautiful, equal to anything that was in Boston. it was a thriving hub of business and banking, especially for many, many years. It's really a shame that nobody has chosen to go to use that building, but to rehab it at this point would be really expensive. So they haven't been able to find a tenant who's willing to put that kind of money into it. The the Superman building, I worked in that building for many years.
Wow.
And during the blizzard of 78, which a lot of people don't know, is that one of the floors of that building was actually shut off completely. There was no heat, and they used it as a temporary morgue. For so many of the people who had died in Providence, the streets weren't open, so they were able to put them in this chilled floor of that building as a morgue.
So you actually worked in that cool structure?
I did. It's
actually so cool. Like, I saw some old pictures of the building. It stand out from all the other buildings.
Oh, it's absolutely stunning inside. The marble that's in there, the tile work, it's just exceptionally beautiful.
Stands out from all the other buildings in Providence.
It does. It was a shame that when they added, that bank added a whole nother building, that architecture didn't match it at all, and it was so ugly in comparison.
All right. Do you think the Superman building still has some potential to be used for anything?
It's really hard to say. It all depends, and if an investor has the kind of money, it's quite old. So the pipes are old, the water systems are old. It would be really expensive at this point. And I think if they could find an investor, it would be spectacular. But I don't believe they've been able to find one at this point.
Wow, that was a great answer. I didn't know you worked in the Superman.
Yeah,
that would have been so cool. You've been so high up there.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. But it was hard to think of where my workspace was now a morgue. So kind of strange.
It's like no one lives in there anymore. I mean, no one's not used for anything.
No,
anymore.
It's not used for anything. It's really too bad. I've always thought they should give tours of it, even though it's closed. Even the first floor alone is magnificent.
Wow, it probably would have used to have been so beautiful inside.
It was. I'm sure it still is, because it's all stone.
All right, that is a great answer, though.
Yeah.
All right, so let me move on to the next question. All right, for number 5, how has Water Place Park affected Providence?
Well, Water Place Park really it opened up a section of the waterfront for not only for businesses, but especially for restaurants. And so it brought economic growth to an area that had lost so much industry. They were kind of going more towards the growth of restaurants, theaters, music. It was giving an open air commercial space for artists to perform and so forth. And so it was really an economic foothold for the city, and it was a real anchor, that area for the restaurant scene, which had become very, very popular and really drew a lot of people into the city, and they were desperate for that business to come in.
Wow, so brought all the culture to
It did. We had culture, but it was a new structure that they hadn't had anything, and so it utilized not only the water, but it gave a place for people to sit by the water, but also to enjoy meals and bringing them back into the city again.
Yeah, because I think the main reason why people left because the waters and they're not there. It was filled with roads and railroads, so they went away.
Right.
And other reasons too, and they came back because they were able to enjoy the food by this water place.
Exactly. So many cities in Rhode Island, they do have, or towns in Rhode Island, they have waterfront dining, whether it's in Newport or it's in Bristol or Warren. Providence didn't have that because our waterway really still had many industrial buildings on the waterfront. We never really created a marketable waterfront. So Water Place Park was supposed to be the thing that brought people in to enjoy the water in Providence.
Wow. What do you think Providence would be without Water Place?
Well, they still have the water fires, which is kind of leads its way up to, and that's just been an economic boom. I think it would have cost the city, it would have been in a much sharper decline much earlier had Water Place Park not been built.
I remember me and my dad would go to the water fire every year. It was super fun. There would be a crowd of people.
Yeah.
I have to shuffle through the people. There would be people from all over just coming around and see the water fire.
Right.
And it just brings everyone here. And that's why Rhode Island, Providence, downtown Providence doing as well as it's doing today?
They have so much to offer. We have such a variety of different types of food, and there's so many different vendors. So people come from all over. So they're filling the hotel rooms. They're going to all the water fire itself, but they're also going to all the restaurants. And so in the summer, where most people head to the beaches, we are still bringing people into the city. And so economically, it really helps all the restaurants and helps the taxes. It helps the whole city to stay active and vibrant.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even know how why Rhode Island was booming like that. I didn't know how that's how it worked, how it got all its people to come here.
Absolutely. We've got to have a reason for someone to come.
Because whenever I hear Rhode Island from another person who doesn't live in the state, I hear about Rhode Island has some cool beaches. I never hear Rhode Island has some cool cities.
Right.
I mean, no one really
cool activities downtown, but a lot of people have heard about water fires. It is pretty unique to Rhode Island to have our actual the bay comes right up into the city, through the city, and we're able to utilize that.
I think where that makes downtown Providence very special, and you got the water fire, which is only unique to here, so that's why people always come over to see that.
Yeah, and it is beautiful. You've seen it yourself. It's really beautiful, and people are really united in the beauty of that.
That's a great response. All right, I'm gonna go. All right, next question. What do you think is the future of downtown Providence?
It's hard to say right now. We're in flux right now quite a bit. With the mall basically is almost in a failure state. There's a lot of debate about what's going to happen to the mall. And that is going to be a real telltale sign of where things lead economically for the city. We're not doing manufacturing there anymore. There used to be a whole area called the Jewelry District and did a lot of manufacturing. That basically is all left. We've got all the colleges. We have quite a few colleges in the city now, and that is almost the economic foundation for most of the city. With the mall potentially closing, I guess it really depends on how creative they get with using that space. And is it going to be a space that's going to continue to bring people in, or is it going to be a space that's going to be used for housing? And if it is used for housing, then you're really only catering to the people who live in that housing. So I'm going to be curious to see what they decide to do, because it will be a big deciding factor for the economic growth of the city.
What do you think is best? What do you think they should do to attraction to bring people in?
I think retail is always going to bring people in. I think maybe malls are an old-fashioned concept now with so much online shopping. So I'm not 100% sure I'm the perfect person to ask that to. I'm not an economist, but certainly it is something they need to think of. How are people going to want to come in to that area? How can the mall be a place, which won't be a mall, how can that be a place that's going to continue to bring people into the city to drive the economic growth?
I still see some people go to Providence Place Mall.
Sure. Well, it's bankrupt. So that's a big part of the problem. It can't sustain itself. And so once you go into bankruptcy, there's got to be some big changes. I know they're throwing a lot of different ideas out there about what they're going to do. What's going to be the best one? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I hope it doesn't shut down, because that's our only mall without that. I mean, Providence Place, what is there going to be? You got the park, got the Wi-Fi, but you don't got the mall.
Right. So we'll see. We will wait and see what they do. We'll wait and see if they do some kind of a big revamp and keep it a mall. It's definitely a possibility. We don't know.
Well, I'm really curious to know what downtown Providence will look like when I'm an adult. So
yeah, me too.
It could change.
Me too.
It could change a lot, or it could do really good, or really poor.
Right.
So.
I think Providence will stay a very young city for a long time because of all the colleges we have. Through three quarters of the year, if not more, it's filled with a lot of young people, and they bring vibrancy, and they bring their families, and so we'll see. They do
got Brown University. I see a lot of people at Brown. The young people. They can bring some stuff to downtown Providence.
Right. Well, you consider it's not only Brown University, you've got Johnson Wales, you've got Rhode Island School of Design, you have Rhode Island College, you have Providence College. Just to name it, that's just the start. So you have a lot of colleges there, and young people always bring a lot of life. So
I think that's kind of like a hope. That just kind of gives you hope, for a future of downtown Providence. I think they can make a change to downtown Providence, make it, start bringing people in again.
Right. I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll be a center of a hub for all the artists, and it'll be, you know, I don't know. I don't know exactly what they'll do.
I'm really
but
curious
we'll
to see
be.
what
I'll be curious too. I'll be curious.
All right. So for our final question, why should students learn about downtown Providence history? For our final question.
Well, you should learn about the history of any city that you either live in or you want to go to live in or move to. It gives you an idea of the things that are important to the area and the people in the area. We have a lot of students, so clearly young people, and education is really big. And with education comes theater programs, comes, you know, all kinds of arts, and it makes a very vibrant community, even for people who are older, because the students bring life. So you don't have to be a student to go to the theater. You don't have to be a student to go to art exhibits. So when you think about that, where there's whatever city you want to live in, Providence has all of that. It has a lot of vibrancy because of all the students that are here. And it has a very rich history culturally. There's so many different cultures that come here. There's so many different types of food. We have one of the highest number of independent operated restaurants in the country. So that in itself is just really amazing.
Well, I think Providence is a very underrated city.
I agree.
I feel like we have more in the city than other people think, because when other people look at Providence, like, oh, it's just a dying city.
No, and it really isn't. It really isn't. It's got a lot of life. It's got a lot of history, a lot of culture. And you just have to look for it.
I mean, we got a lot of cultural background here, more than people think.
We do. We do. We have a really strong heritage for a lot of different groups, and they are represented in very many different forms all throughout the city.
And as like one of the earliest cities, we do got a lot of history. I mean,
we do.
I mean,
we do.
Rhode Island was founded in 1600s, and you know, a lot of things have changed since then.
Right. And I would say to anyone, if you want to even see just an example of how beautiful the city of Providence is, all you have to go is the Providence Library, and you can see it's absolutely stunning, and it is just an example of how many beautiful things we have in Providence that are so similar to that.
All right, thank you, Betsy.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much for coming to my interview. Thank you for
welcome.
answering these questions.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for asking.
All right, and thank you, Mom, for recording.